What is up, ineffable being? How are you doing? I want to tell you that you are a genius. You are special. You mean the world, and you are loved. Today's topic is raise your frequency. So let's get into it. What is the end goal of life? What is the end goal of life? So we live and we die. We can say that the end goal, the race of life, is to die. The question is, after this fact, how how pleasant should no not should how pleasant do you want this journey? If you decide that you want the most pleasant journey, then the question is, the burden falls on you to accept, how am I going to create the most pleasant? So let's think about a cheetah, or let's think about any race. It could be a vehicle race, a boat race, or whatever other type of race. And let's compare the race as like getting the end goal. The end goal for the human is technically death, so to win the race is dying. And the instrument in which any other race is used, let's say a car. How are you going to win? How are you going to win that race? How are you going to win death? How are you going to win your life? How is any animal that's running or racing going to win? They gotta change. Their speed has to change. You have to be the fastest to create. It's a fact. I say this lightly, wholeheartedly, but it's a fact. We're constantly dying. Every minute of life we're dying. So I call it the living death. You have to accept that. Well, let's get over that. I made a video discussing that in more detail. Today we're talking about the vibration, your frequency. The purpose is, once you realize, okay, my time here is limited, and I believe you're going to decide, if the options are giving, create this journey the most pleasant or not. I believe you're going to say the most pleasant journey. So the question is how? And well, how do you win anything? How are you the best at anything? You win. You're the fastest. You got to raise your frequency. I hope I'm making the connection, because to raise your frequency means you're operating at a higher level, at a better level. You're able to receive, retain, do, create more. If your frequency is higher, you're going to be able to have pleasantness, and that's going to translate into your journey here being pleasant. How do you raise your frequency? Well, there's a lot of things. I have a specific video on how to raise your frequency. This video is just raise your frequency. So the purpose is then to create the best journey during this very long race, right? This race might be 80 years. This race might be 100 years. Depending on medical and science, where they take us, we might go 200. Who knows where we'll be in 50 years. But the end goal is the same. The question still stands. How pleasant do you want the journey? To create the most pleasantness, you have to raise your vibration. You have to raise your frequency. Not because I'm telling you, just because it's simple facts. I mean, it's science. It should be so obvious that to create pleasantness, I have to be my best version. Now, sure, if you're living unconsciously, if you're conscious that you can be conscious, but yet you decide not to be conscious, you really don't care, because it doesn't matter what someone tells you. You already feel you have hit the ceiling of your life. You feel you are at 100% potential, so there's nothing I or anybody else could do. So this video isn't for you. You feel you are 100%, your frequency as is at the highest. I used to live that. I mean, I make these videos because I lived that life, and I thought that was the truth, and I preached it, and I believed it. I lost my family, I lost my jobs, I lost all friendships, all romantic relationships, and I ended up 100,000 miles away from my loved ones to learn. So the question for you then is, do you want to grow from a place of inspiration or suffering? Do you want to grow from joy, or do you want to grow from pain? You know, the world believes, the Pisces, the time of Pisces had us believe that we have to suffer to grow. We have to suffer to become our best versions. We have to suffer, suffer, suffer. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not the only person sharing how to live through the heart, but I'm only going to talk about my experience. I've shared this with many people, and I continuously do. And they didn't suffer. They didn't have to lose their family. They didn't have to lose their jobs, their romantic relationships to experience heaven on earth. Well, what's heaven on earth? The ability to create pleasantness internally and externally without external impulses. That's heaven on earth. That's called being invincible. That's called raising your vibration. You want to raise your vibration? Well, find how you cannot be affected by what's going on externally. Excuse me. You're always going to be affected by what's going on externally. But create a method for yourself to allow what's the impulses from your external world to not lower your emotional state. If you find how to do that, then you have risen your vibration. You have learned how to be above the environment. So, do you have to raise your vibration? Like, I mean, hey, again, listen to the words. Do you want to find happiness? Do you want happiness inside of you to be created because of what's going on externally? Answer that to yourself right now. Again, the question is, do you want happiness to be created because of what is happening outside? I decided no. The reason is, not even the most amazing person. This is a horrible example I so love, but let's take Jesus Christ. He walked on water, he made bread into wine, or fish into bread, he cured the blind. We can say he was a very powerful person, but he suffered. His external life wasn't really happening his way. So, again, he was still happy. He didn't need his external life. He was so happy. He's the most famous person on the planet, I believe. I mean, we have the Buddha, we have Shiva, but if we talk about like books sold, I think the Bible, and this might just be my cultural upbringing, but from my past, from my understanding, the Bible is the most sold book. Over 1 billion sells. There's only 7 billion people on the planet. That's crazy. Like that's power. So this person had to be very powerful. But yet, look what his external life was. But look at what he created. Again, this might scare you. Let me digress. This living through the heart shouldn't scare you. He lived in different times. We live in times where we share about consciousness. We have Sadhguru, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Ralph Smart, Teal Swan, Dr. Bruce Lipton. We have science, epigenetics. I mean, we have so much things. And this time, to accept to be conscious, that it's baffling that the biggest question on the planet is to be or to not be. And we don't accept to look, challenge ourselves to test the other side. We're just gonna like not be and believe I am being. Hey, that was me. I'm not making fun. That was me. But I promise you, you raise your vibration, you're going to get from point A to point B. If you take anything from this video, it's that the best way to get from point A to point B is by raising your vibration. What is your point B? Put down in the comments. It could be $1 billion, the dream job, making it to the NFL, making it to the NBA, being healthy, losing debt. It doesn't matter what your point B is, but we all have a point B. The fastest way to get there is by raising your frequency. I hope this video has helped you. I hope it's motivated you to jump into yourself, because I know that you want what you want, and you're going to get it at all costs. And I hope that I have just been the medium to motivate you to accept everything you are, physical and non-physical, integrate both of these aspects of who you are into your life to take you, be the catalyst for you getting to your point B. Please share with me please share with me topics you'd like for me to cover in the future. Please share this video with your loved ones, mastermind group, family, best friends. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and like. I hope to see you in the side of light. Goodbye.